back. We have a very exciting show today. Coach Deb is with us. So everybody who's joining, let us know in the chat box. We want to know, where are you coming from? What type of diabetes are you living with? So let us know in the chat box. Deb, where are you coming from?
I am close to Houston, just north of Houston, over by Lake Conroe.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. I love that. You're a registered nurse? You have a nursing experience? Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So I was working as a cardiac nurse, and then I went to lifestyle medicine, nursing and coaching.
It's fantastic, because you wanted to start addressing the root cause to prevent people from getting into that situation.
Yes, definitely, for
Exactly.
sure.
Exactly.
I was tired of seeing cardiac patients getting more and more procedures and not really addressing the cause of what's causing their illness.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's what we do at Mastering Diabetes, guys. We are here to help you prevent conditions that you don't need to experience, right? So you could prevent diabetes if you're here, and maybe you're not living with any form of diabetes. Maybe you have pre-diabetes or type 2 diabetes. Let's reverse those, right? If you're living with type 1 diabetes like myself and Cyrus, my co-founder here, or type 1.5 diabetes, or maybe even insulin-dependent type 2, that's okay too. We're here to help you live the best life ever, to use an appropriate amount of insulin, okay? So again, if you're just joining us, let us know where you're coming from, where do you live, and what type of diabetes are you living with. So Kev, got you, Montreal, Canada. Are you living with some form of diabetes? Let us know. Jen, are you living with any form of diabetes? Where are you coming from? Paula is living with type 1 diabetes. Okay, fantastic. So let us know. Now, Deb, you have an exciting recipe. What are you going to make for us today?
So this is a sweet potato pie recipe, but I have a confession to make. It's not actually pie.
That's funny.
A sweet potato with some spices that make it taste like pie, and it's so good.
Okay, I love it. That's fun. It's all about how it tastes, right? That's the most important thing. We have Colleen is in Illinois, living with type 2. We have Miss Abrar, Kuwait. Okay. We have Kimberly living in Nashville, type 2 insulin dependent. Glad to have you with us. Type 1 from our guest from Kuwait. That's a long ways away. Glad to have you with us. Type 2. Okay, Kev, welcome. Jacqueline, I have pre-diabetes. You're from Kentucky. All right, Donna, you have pre-diabetes. Paula loves sweet potato. All right, guys, you're all in the right place. All right, you're all in the right place. So make sure to get your pen and paper out, or get your phone out and take a picture when we get the recipe up. But why don't we start making the recipe?
All right, all right. So let me just adjust my screen here, and so we can see the ingredients.
Perfect.
All right, too much. Okay. So we've got some Ceylon cinnamon. This is real cinnamon. This is not fake cinnamon right here. It's the real deal.
And what's the difference? Why is Ceylon important?
So Ceylon is the one that is not toxic. So the other brand that's so commonly found in the grocery stores, the one that most people tend to use, can actually be toxic at higher doses. So the Ceylon is the one that's safer to use.
Excellent. So, very good. Okay. So look for that one, folks.
Yeah. So I'm all about safety. And Dr. Greger recommends Ceylon cinnamon. So that's what I like to use. I really like this brand of spices because it's not super pricey, and they don't add any extra ingredients like salt or sugar, even in their spice blends. So I love this one. I buy this brand like all the time.
I think that's Frontier, right?
Frontier, yeah.
Yep, Frontier. Okay, excellent. And I'm just going to announce some of the new people that have joined us. So we got Rebecca from Central Ohio, living with type 1.5. She loves sweet potatoes. Barb, type 2 from Edmonton, Canada. Muhammad, type 2. And Paula loves recipes. I love that enthusiasm. Okay. So we got the cinnamon. What else?
So we've got ginger.
Okay. Excellent.
Same brand. Frontier, and this is turmeric. So you can see I bought it in bulk, and I just loaded up a giant jar of turmeric here.
That's fantastic.
All right. So for the spice blend, we're going to do 3 parts of cinnamon. And you don't have to do a full teaspoon, but I'm going to make sure you get a good level teaspoon.
I like that precision. That's fantastic.
So it's scalable. If you just want to try it out, you can use like 1/4 of a teaspoon and just do 3 spoonfuls of your cinnamon, and then 1 spoonful of your turmeric and 1 of the ginger. So hopefully you get a accurate measure here.
Yes. And that's great. You just put it in the scooper, and then you use a knife to flatten it out. Like, that's great.
Yeah. So this is just an old spice jar that I recycled from something I used before. So save that one. I always save all my spice jars.
Now, while you're doing this, I want to know, anybody listening, have you picked up a copy of our book? I want to know who watching here today has a copy of Mastering Diabetes. This is the soft cover version. This is the hardcover version, right? So if you have the book, I want you to either yes or no in the chat box. All right, I want to know. And let's continue.
So this is the ginger. I got a little too much. Put some of it back. So ginger. Maybe I'm going in the wrong order here, but that's okay. All right, some ginger.
Excellent.
Right in there with the cinnamon and turmeric.
This is
and you know what? I'm not going to put any black pepper in here with the turmeric because I don't want my pie to taste like black pepper. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some omega-3s to help with the absorption of the curcumin from the turmeric, which is so healthy and anti-inflammatory.
Wonderful. Okay, I love the comments coming in. A lot of yeses on the book. So everybody who hasn't commented, I assume the answer is no. You should pick up a copy. You can get it on Amazon. You can listen to the audiobook, which Cyrus and I read together, which was super fun. That's on Audible or anywhere you buy audiobooks. Get it on Kindle. So make sure to get your hands on the book. And also, I want you guys to share your favorite part from the book. What did you learn? Let us know in the chat box. Okay, continue.
Yeah, so I've got all the spices in here. So when you're using pure spices, there's going to be a little bit of clumping. So to get rid of the clumps, you want to smush it. Smush it all in there. So break up all the clumps and mix it around, because if you just shake it, you're not going to get all the clumps. So you got to kind of press them out with the spoon there.
And that's an important tip, because you're using very clean, high quality products here.
Yes, we don't have any like additives or anti-caking ingredients. It's just the pure deal. So, and I stole this recipe from Dr. B. Dr. B says that he puts this, not this exact proportion with the 3-part cinnamon, but he says he puts cinnamon, ginger, and turmeric in his coffee. So I was like, well, let me put that on a sweet potato and see what happens. So I had to copy his recipe, and it's a good one. So that's why I wanted to share it with you guys.
I love it. Okay, so we got the spice blend, and
we got the spice blend.
There's a and is it the antioxidant? Like, why is the spice blend so powerful? What are the benefits of these antioxidants?
Yeah. So it's full of antioxidants, which helps us to fight oxidative stress in our bodies. So what that does, oxidative stress causes inflammation, which, then with inflammation, you can have diseases like arthritis and IBS. So that's why it's important to get rid of the inflammation, because I've had some clients who had such bad arthritis pain. They really had to get rid of all the inflammatory foods in their diet, like dairy. So they got rid of the dairy. They started eating plant-based and getting lots and lots of antioxidants. So that helped them alleviate their pain. And then they were able to exercise more. So it's really life-changing and powerful when you start eating plant-based.
It's like a compounding effect, right? So like one benefit led to another benefit, which leads to another benefit. And I think that's a really important part about our coaching program. So you work with clients on a daily basis, and it's more than just the diet, right? Like you just talked about how you got your client to be getting more active because they made proper dietary changes, but like it's a lifestyle change. And that's what makes our program a lot different than many others, and how we stack together everything that we know from science helps you become more insulin sensitive. And so maybe you can just talk about what you experience with your clients.
Yeah, so, we have clients joining the program and they're coming from eating the standard American diet with lots of processed foods, lots of dairy products, and these things can be really inflammatory. So what I've seen is people who were unable to exercise before change their diet, and they start to feel healthier. They're able to exercise a lot more and build up their exercise tolerance. So it is a complete lifestyle change. And of course, we like to focus on using plants as medicine with mastering diabetes, right?
Yes.
So improving people's health with a plant-based diet. And it impacts so many other things in your life. You sleep better, you're able to manage stress better once you start exercising. So it's all of these things that pile up all together to create a healthy lifestyle.
Absolutely. I love the comment from Kimberly. She says, love hearing your guys' actual voices and can't believe I can have potatoes. You sure can. So she's talking about the audiobook. But here we go. We got potatoes on the screen.
So potatoes. So I like to do them like face down. So they're cut in half. As you can see, I half them. And then I put them face down on a silicone mat here. Cook them at about 400 degrees for about 40 minutes. I think these are a little overdone, but I'm not a chef. But you can see that the juices kind of comes out on the, can you see that?
Yeah,
the
I can see clearly.
And it starts to caramelize.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It starts to caramelize. So,
and it looks like you have a special mat that's on top of your tray. What's that?
It's a silicone baking mat.
Mm-hmm.
So I love to use these when I'm baking. You can also use parchment paper. So it looks kind of like that.
That looks beautiful.
I love to eat these chilled because to me it tastes better. But also when you chill any kind of starchy food, as you know, Robby, it'll help to create a resistant starch. So you're not getting such a huge glycemic impact. So what you do is you cook your sweet potatoes the night before and stick them in the refrigerator. And these came right out of my refrigerator here.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Ready to go.
And how long, let's say you cook some sweet potatoes, you put them in the fridge, how long will they last before they're not good anymore?
About 5 days.
See, that's amazing. So you can do a lot of like batch cooking. That's for your potatoes for the week.
And that's what I do. Almost every single week, I batch cook a whole bunch of sweet potatoes. So they're ready for me when I am hungry. Mm-hmm. Because there's nothing worse than being super hungry and not having anything ready to eat.
Correct. That's what leads to the not best decisions. Yeah.
So let me show you how I'm going to put the spice blend here onto this sweet potato. So some people might think that this blend is a little too spicy. So start small if you don't like spice, but I like kind of a lot of spice in mine. And it's so yummy. And it reminds me of my grandma's sweet potato pie from when I was a little kid. So it's kind of like comfort food that you don't have to feel guilty about.
So I want to know if anybody listening, okay? I want to know, everybody, like, are you the type of person where you think if you ate this recipe, your blood glucose is going to spike? I want you to put S in the chat box if you think this recipe that Mastering Diabetes Coach Deb is providing you is going to actually cause your blood glucose to spike and your insulin levels to go up. And you're sitting there thinking like, I don't know about this. This is kind of weird. Like, why are these people telling me to eat potatoes, blueberries, and raspberries to help me reverse insulin resistance? Like, is that confusing to you? Like, we have Cassie says S, Kimberly says S, Colleen says S, mine for sure. Judy says no. Okay. Kev says yes, my blood sugar will be high. Cassie says it would spike, but depends on what else I've eaten. Okay. Says hi from Poland. We have your book in our language and it's great. I don't have diabetes, but I've been. Okay. There's a slow release. Okay. So Betta says no. MK says S. Colleen says I'm a stubborn case. Okay. So Coach Deb, can you explain why people who follow the Mastering Diabetes method can enjoy a recipe like this?
Well, because they're more insulin sensitive.
That's right.
Right. So they've reversed the insulin resistance and they're more glucose tolerant. So when you're able to utilize the glucose and the insulin more readily when it's there to be used.
That's right. That's right. Okay. I love that. It's very important, guys, because that's the whole thing here. What we're doing is everybody who wrote S, everybody who's listening and didn't write S and might be thinking that, you have to understand that if you can't eat this recipe, okay, and you're living with any type of diabetes and you use insulin, like if you can't eat this recipe without seeing some type of spike, that is actually a warning sign, okay? That is actually a wake-up call that there's something not going wrong, not going well on a metabolic level, right? You are exhibiting insulin resistance, okay? And that is a concern because insulin resistance is sort of a central node for a laundry list of conditions. That includes heart disease. Heart disease is the number one cause of death for people living with all types of diabetes. That includes cancer. That includes fatty liver disease. That includes high blood pressure, high cholesterol, chronic kidney disease, Alzheimer's disease, retinopathy, neuropathy, obesity. Insulin resistance is the central node. And that's why when people come into our program, they see so many different conditions simultaneously improving. Okay, so if anybody listening wants to lose weight, put W in the chat box. Do you want to release some extra weight that you'd rather not have on your body? Put W in the chat box. All right. Okay. So this is important to know. And that's why this is actually an ideal recipe for somebody who's living with any form of diabetes. Love you guys. I reversed my type 2 diabetes following MD, and I'm so thankful. I have 2 ladies at work trying it now. That's fantastic, Renee. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so I see some W's coming in. So this recipe is, Deb, please explain why sweet potatoes are actually a great food for people who are looking to lose some weight.
Well, because it's a whole food, right? And it's really filling and satiating. So starchy foods like potatoes, like Dr. McDougall always says, like you got to eat your starches to feel fuller. And also it's all about calorie density when you're talking about weight loss and trying to maintain a negative calorie balance through your day. But when you're eating a sweet potato, it's not a lot of calories, right? It's not like eating a Big Mac from McDonald's. So it's very low on the calories and filling too.
That's right. That's right. 100%. So there's a lot of research on the satiety of different foods. Okay. Potatoes happen to be one of the most satiating foods on the planet. And people confuse this. Here's the thing about this recipe, guys. This recipe is very low in total fat, very low. Whereas most people eat their potatoes with butter on top, with cream on top, with all kinds of garbage on top. Okay. That's not what's happening here. And it's that recipe, those ingredients that have led you to become insulin resistant, which prevents you from being able to enjoy this recipe on day one for some people, right? Some people come into our coaching program, and Coach Deb knows this, as well as anybody, we help you methodically transition out of being insulin resistant, right? So this is a recipe that, if you're just starting out, you might actually see a little bit of a spike in the beginning because you're insulin resistant. But there's a way to solve that in this particular case. If you want to have this recipe, number one is you'd add some greens or non-starchy vegetables. And number two, you'd eat slowly, chew your food, really take your time, and move your body either before or after. Either one is fine. After would probably be a little bit more ideal, but either one is fine. Move your body. Okay. And that's how you're going to see better insulin sensitivity, better blood glucose management. But it's about the consistency of eating this way over time, which then gets you to a point where when you eat a meal like this, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to overanalyze, oh, what do I have to add? I have to do X amount of walking. Like, life becomes simpler down the road. Okay. But our coaching program and our amazing team, Coach Deb, and so many other amazing coaches on our team. And actually, I just remembered today's International Women's Day. What a great day to celebrate Coach Deb and our amazing team, which is mostly women on our team, on our coaching team. I think we have two males on the coaching team. So just want to celebrate that. But so if anybody's interested in learning more about coaching, you can just go to masteringdiabetes.org/start. You can book a free discovery call and learn about coaching. But I just wanted to really make that point. So people listening today, you shared S, you shared W. This recipe is addressing all of that. So why don't you go ahead? I think you're going to add some other things to this dish.
Yeah. So this is what I do with the spices here. We got to squish it in. So we got to squish it up real good here, Robby.
I love it. So you're basically mixing in the spice. So you have the spice throughout the entire enjoyment of the potato.
Yes. Got to mix all the spice in there. And these potatoes, these are organic. So I do eat the skin. There's a lot of nutrients in the skin of the potato.
Wonderful.
So, and if I don't eat the skin, my little doggy eats the skin. As long as there's no spice in there, she really likes them, the potato skins. So mix it all in just like that. And then we're going to add some raspberries, about a cup of raspberries.
Adding some color. I like it.
And some blueberries here.
Easy. This is a beautiful meal. This is gorgeous.
You can see all of these phytonutrients right there. Oops. Losing some more blueberries.
Those berries are really going to help stabilize one's blood glucose as well. So that's actually a great addition to this dish.
It is gorgeous and it's delicious. One more ingredient we can't forget about is the freshly ground flaxseed.
Yes, wonderful.
This has omega-3s, which will help us to absorb their curcumin from the turmeric. Get all of the antioxidant benefits.
And one of the beautiful things about this recipe is you could have it for any meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. This is a versatile recipe.
Yes, it's true. You can have this for any time of the day, anytime you're hungry. And if you prepare your sweet potatoes ahead of time, there's like no chopping. You just wash your berries and throw it all together. It's really fast and easy. It's just so important when you're trying to stay on track with your goals.
That's amazing. It's in perfect alignment with this show, Simple Meals. Jake says, MD Health Coaching is the best decision I made for regaining control of my T1D and all around health. That's fantastic. Jake, wonderful. David asks, what is a general serving size we should consume for sweet potatoes? What do you think, Coach Deb?
I say eat a large sweet potato. If you're not insulin resistant, if you've improved your insulin resistance already, then you should be able to handle all of this. It's a lot of carbs, but you guys have seen what Robby eats in one meal. He'll eat like 5 of these servings. So that's all.
You're exactly right. When you become more insulin sensitive, there's really no need to think or worry about it. You're going to eat when you're hungry till you're satisfied.
Mhm.
We are the only species on the planet that thinks about how much to eat. Every other species we are built and designed to have signals that are sent to our brain from our body, okay? They communicate with each other that you've had enough. And that
Mhm.
is when you are eating food that nature provides. When you're eating food that's been hijacked by the food industry, that whole appetite, that whole system goes a little wonky, right? And that's part of the reason we have a society, statistically speaking, as a nation, we're overweight. We're overweight, right? And so
Yep.
oftentimes you are looking for more nutrients, right? But you end up just consuming more empty calories. And this entire system here, what's happening here with the fiber, the water, the nutrient density, that is an entirely different communication with your body, and you don't end up eating more than you need, right? If for any reason that is not working for you, and some people, there's a small percent of people, it's like, actually, you know what? You can't eat as much as you want of sweet potatoes. That happens to some people. Working with somebody like Coach Deb, we're going to make that adjustment and we're going to figure out what's going on. Okay, what foods can you eat in unlimited ways? Okay, if you are going to have to do any sort of proportioning here, okay, what's the right proportion? What else are we going to put on the plate? That's why we created Mastering Diabetes. That's why we created a coaching program. That's what we do here. We are so passionate about it. We provide a lot of education. We have an amazing book we're very proud of, changed a lot of lives, but really that day-to-day nuanced coaching for you in your life, in your situation, based on your goals. That's what we do here. And really excited about it. So Renee says, I also lost 85 pounds doing MD, 15 more to go. I mean, that's fantastic. Congratulations. Absolutely.
That's
Congratulations.
amazing.
Good stuff. Terry says, I started eating cold potatoes like an apple and have lost 5 pounds. So look at that, Terry. See, it's a perfect example, right? Perfect example.
Yeah.
So this has been really, really fun. Deb, any other tips you have for recipes like this and that are super fast that you just want to share before we go?
Yeah, just keep it simple, throw a bunch of healthy food in a bowl and eat it. You can experiment. And of course, adding the leafy greens, it would be a nice addition to this. So
Yeah.
I might need to eat some leafies right before I eat this meal to help with the blood glucose control. But, that's,
Yeah. Deb,
if you're at your most insulin resistant state, you would want to eat the leafy greens first.
Correct. Have you found that your taste buds changed a lot when you started eating more a plant-based diet?
Oh yes, for sure. Because I used to have to add like a lot of salt to food before I went salt free, just to make it taste good to me. But salt actually can cause you to overeat. So we try to avoid the salt. It's also not good for your blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So my taste buds have definitely changed. It does take about a month to get off the salt and stop craving the salt. And for fatty foods, it can take about 3 months to stop with the fat cravings. But your taste buds do change over time. And now I crave weird things like kale salad. And I know that sounds crazy,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
amazing.
good.
It makes perfect sense to me. That's what I can't wait to go eat my lunch with a bunch of greens and fruits. So I'm gonna address one more question, then we're all gonna go because Coach Deb's got to go help a bunch of her clients, right? So Jacqueline says, when I have oat groats and fruit for breakfast, I feel hungry all day. But when I eat scrambled tofu with vegetables and fruit, I am not as hungry. Okay. So Jacqueline, number one, I want to let you know that your experience is real and what's happening for you is real. But I want to say there's nuances here, and you shouldn't be hungry all day because of what you ate at breakfast. You know what I'm saying? There should then be a lunch, there should then be a dinner, there should be some snacks. So that's something that could be addressed. But what's likely happening is the scrambled tofu is higher in fat, and you're probably getting more calories. But we're not going to solve this on today's show because we're going to have to go right after this. But these are the nuances that we solve in a coaching program. All right. So for some people, you might have already eat so much fat with your breakfast meals or any meal that then switching over to this different approach, you might not feel the same level of satiety. And we can work through that. We can slowly diminish that fat. And so it's not as much of a dramatic change. Like that's one nuanced thing that could be done. But there's other things that could be done too. There's other things to try other than oat groats, other than fruit. There's a lot of ways, but this is our passion, right? So when you follow the Mastering Diabetes method, there's a lot of different foods, lots of different ways to prepare them, different ways to eat them, different things to add. And we help every individual who enters our program get to a point where you love your meals, you're excited for your meals, and you feel satisfied by your meals, and you feel like you got the nutrition you need, and you feel confident in that. Because anything less than that, it's not going to work. And you're going to go back to your old ways of eating. So that's what we're committed to. That's what we do. We actually guarantee these results, but that's what we do. That's our passion. And I just want you to know that. So anybody who's tried and struggled, why don't you write a T in the chat box? If you're like, you know what, I tried this and I didn't really get the results that I thought I was going to get. I didn't really see what happened in my body, see like the testimonials I see on the screen. I read the book. I didn't get the same thing that happened to the testimonials in the book. Just put T in the chat box if that's true for you. Like, I tried this, but it didn't work the way I wanted it to work. Okay. I want to, if that is true, then that you are the ultimate person that needs to book a discovery call. Go to masteringdiabetes.org/start. You need some nuanced help in that case, right? There's some details that have to be addressed, because as long as you're ready and you're willing, you're ready to go, you're going to get the results, right? You just might need some tweaks and some guidance. So that's my message. Deb, anything else you want to say before we go?
For the last person that commented, I was going to say maybe she needs to eat a larger portion of the oats with the fruit, because that's important too, the meal size.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But there's lots of tweaks that you can work on with that.
Absolutely. No question. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Same time, same place next week. We have another show, Simple Meals. And I hope you guys have a good one. See ya.
Bye, Robby.